This week we are talking about money. And I thought it would be a fun idea for me to review my 3 top favourite money books that I have read in the last few years. I have read many a book about money and I have learned a lot. But the 3 books that I'm going to talk about today have probably had the most influence on me, especially in the last 2 years since my life has completely changed. And so I will just dig right in. My first book is it's resonated with me the most on my money journey, on my life journey, and the author I have gone on to work with one-on-one personally, not around money but around healing, and he's had a very big influence on my life, on how I've learned, on how I've healed. So the first book is The Illusion of Money by Kyle Cease. So you may have seen the podcast episode I did with him recently. If not, go and check it out. It is we had an amazing conversation, but at the end I asked him about his book and what he means by the illusion of money. Because when I first started reading this book, my ex, and ironically he became an ex very soon after I started reading this book, he laughed at me because he was like, what do you mean by the illusion of money? How can you say money isn't real? He was an accountant, or is an accountant, so I understand his very logical way of thinking, but I also understand this is the majority of the population's way of thinking, is that money is real, money is this thing that we have to strive towards every single day. It's why we live our lives, to build as much money as we possibly can so that our egos can feel better than everybody else around us. It gives this illusion of safety and security in our lives. It also gives the illusion of freedom. So this is why this book resonated deeply with me, because it made me look at money in a completely different way. Yes, I'd read things like Think and Grow Rich. I'd had a lot of done some of Tony Robbins' seminars and tried to read some of his books about money, but none of it really hit me, because I would read them and then I'd think, well, why am I still miserable? And I think the biggest thing that this book gave me is that it's why the reason why we're chasing money is what causes suffering. We chase it from a place of lack, from a place of not believing in ourselves, from believing that money defines our worth, and that isn't the case. And we often are programmed, like we've been conditioned our entire lives and beyond, like our ancestors were conditioned. We have generational conditioning throughout our body that determines how we view money. And unfortunately, we have been led to believe that scarcity and lack are the truth, and they're not. And that's what this book goes into. It goes into the truth about money and freedom and how it's all within you, and that you just have to start to take steps to answering your highest calling, start to take steps towards your own freedom and recognizing that within, and then you will begin to access it. So this book, Kyle Cease is a comedian, so he's funny. This book is light, it is funny, it's amusing, it's a really easy, fun read. But there are also some challenging concepts for the ego. I think they'll resonate with you deep within, but your ego will find challenge with them. So it also raises your awareness. And when I say raises your awareness, it is a book that is written in such a high frequency, from such a high level of consciousness, that that you will unknowingly raise your own frequency and your own awareness just by reading it. And so when you do that, you start to question things. So you start to then make changes within your life, especially if you take the actions that Kyle outlines in this book. You will start to see your life change in a really dramatic way. All of a sudden, you will start answering your calling more than living from your programming. It's just like a byproduct of reading the book. And so when you begin to write this new story of your life, you begin to open yourself to infinite possibilities. And this is one of the other big messages in this book, is that we have access to infinite possibilities, and we have access to infinite abundance. It's the only truth of the world. When we can lean into this truth and lean into the freedom that's within us, and the abundance, and that we are all one, and when we can start to recognize this, things will flow into your life that you would not be able to explain. Kyle also goes into how you attract or repel money. So I imagine if you're watching this, you might have read things like The Secret, or at least watched the documentary, or at least heard of it. And in The Secret, you're taught about the law of attraction and how you attract things. So he sort of covers this, but he has an amazing spin on how we attract and how we repel. So imagine somebody you're dating and they're coming on too strong, and they're like, I need you, I need you, I need you. When are we seeing each other? Why aren't you here all the time? Do you think you'd be attracted to that? So do you think that money is going to want to come into your life if you're like, where's the money? Why don't I have any money? Why isn't the money always in my life? Why isn't it always here? So he has a really, really interesting perspective on how we attract and repel money. And he tells an amazing story of when he wanted to do piano lessons. And he wanted to do lessons every day for a year. Like, Kyle doesn't do things by halves. If he says he's going to do it, he commits he's full in. So he seeks this piano teacher out, and he wants to work with him for every day for a year, but he does a trial with him first. And I'm paraphrasing, so I might not get this completely accurate. You're going to have to read the book to find out. He paid the piano teacher for the first lesson, and how he met this guy was a complete kind of it was a synchronicity. And then this guy, the piano teacher, moaned because he had to pay the PayPal fees. So he moaned to Kyle about a couple of dollars PayPal fee that he had to pay. So without knowing that Kyle wanted to work with him every day for 365 days. So that was basically, the guy probably wouldn't have had to take on much other work because Kyle was willing to pay him for a year. But this guy ruined his opportunity because all he saw was lack, and all he saw was, you've lost me $2.50 or whatever it was by me having to pay PayPal fees. So just a very interesting story about how we attract and repel, and our mindset, and how seeing it the other way rather than it happening to us, seeing how somebody repelled money. So it's very, very, very interesting. One of his other favourite messages within this book for me is how money is one of the biggest excuses that we use not to follow our highest calling in the world. Like, I don't have enough money, or I don't have enough time, or that's not going to pay the bills. So my question for you is, whether you go ahead and read the book or not, where are you using money as an excuse not to go and live your highest life, like your best life? Because I bet it is all possible for everybody, but we make excuses. We are our only limitation. Our mind is our only limitation, and you are not the small self. You are not the limited mind. You are infinite. And I think this is why I love this book so much, because it was the beginning. Reading it was the beginning of me completely changing my life without me being aware of it. So it opened me up to so much magic. And a lot of change that I was uncomfortable with, because I had to see an old story fall away. But the old story falling away has birthed for something so completely magical. It's really, truly amazing. So I highly recommend you can go and buy the book. If you've already read it, I'd love to know what you think. Leave a comment. You can buy the book through the link in the description. Go and check it out. Go check out some of Kyle's work. He's a truly expansive, beautiful being who I am extremely grateful to have worked with, and I keep coming back to this book because it's amazing. I'm so excited to announce that I'm launching a group coaching program that's sole focus is helping you access your highest version of financial freedom. Wealthy, Wild and Free goes further than you have ever been before. We go on a deep journey to discover what your truth of wealth and freedom looks like and how you can start to create it. This is an intensive 8-week program for a very small group of people with hands-on support from myself. I take you on an adventure through your subconscious mind to address your hidden money shadows, your specific money shadow that you need to address and integrate, the limiting beliefs, the fears that are holding you back and running your life. We uncover the truth of infinite abundance and how you can allow it to flow and never stop. We get practical, we go into your personal numbers, any debt, reframing debt, working with loving your money and creating a new relationship for you. Again, releasing any fears that might be holding you back. Disclaimer, this is not a money manifestation course. I am not going to help you create a 6 or 7 figure business. This is a deep inward journey. This is for people who are serious about creating massive change in their lives. It's for people who are serious about freedom and creating a loving relationship towards money. This is hands-on group coaching. So this is for people who are ready to play all out. And if that is you, and you decide to play all out with me, then you will see dramatic changes and improvements throughout your entire life. Yes, in your financial life, yes, in your wealth and in your freedom, but also in your love and in your health. It's just a knock-on effect. Change one, change them all. This is only for people who are interested in playing with infinite possibilities. So if you are interested, then please click the link below, apply, let's have a chat. And anybody who is successful, I will call you personally. This is a small program. I am only accepting 10 people onto the program this time around. So if you're interested, please click the link, let me know, and I look forward to working with you. Here's to being wealthy, wild and free. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, if you loved learning about my favorite money books, then hit subscribe, hit the like button, leave me a comment, let me know which your favorite money book is. Maybe there's something that I need to read. And stay tuned for more videos like this. I will be speaking about money a lot more over the coming weeks, for guided meditations and of course for my weekly podcast.